Salam everyone and welcome to SomaliDispatch.com. My name is Abdikadir Goulet. Abarso School is located just outside of Hargeisa, Somaliland, and it's well known for producing a number of well-educated graduates from one of the world's most premier institutions, including one of them is Nimo Ahmed Ismail. She currently is in Hargeisa during the pandemic pursuing higher education in law. She graduated in one of the top premier universities in Scotland. She's here to talk to us from Hargeisa to discuss her path to that success. Nimo Ismail, welcome straight from Hargeisa. We wanted to thank you first and foremost for your time. And thank you for sharing your experience, your educational experiences with us. Let's start by asking you what your education history was like prior to getting to Abarso.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. My educational, I was living in Hargeisa, so I went to all the way through primary school to a private school in Hargeisa called Blooming School. So I finished up to 8th grade there. So usually when we finish 8th grade, we take a national examination, and then afterwards the student can get into high school if they pass the national examination.
Right.
So yeah, so that's where I finished.
That's how you got. So once you got from Bloom to Abarso, what was the notable differences that you noticed, whether it be the curriculum, the environment, the teachers, the language, what have you? What was that like?
Yeah, well, everything was really different. Well, the first thing was we were being taught by foreigners or teachers who were not from Somaliland. Actually, all of them were countries from where their first language is English, whether it's from the US, UK, Canada. So the language barrier was one of the biggest obstacles because a lot of us couldn't speak. I could speak a little bit of English, not really speak, I could understand, let me say that, but yeah. I couldn't speak English. Environment-wise, it was very different. I was used to being home, going to school in the morning and coming back by the afternoon. But now I was in a boarding school with students all of the same age. We're living inside the school, all of us together. Curriculum-wise, it was different as well. Back at Blooming, it was a private school, so all of the materials were in English, but the teachers used to teach it in Somali. They would read whatever is in the book in English and then translate it to Somali, / if they're asking us questions or explaining something, they would do that in Somali. Here, it was the opposite. Everything is being taught by English. We only had the Islamic studies class, which was being taught by Somali, and our Arabic class was being taught by Egyptian when I was there at the beginning. So it was being taught either by an Egyptian, so it's speaking Arabic. We had a little bit of time where there was a Somali teacher who taught Arabic, but that wasn't for long as well. Yeah.
Excellent. So I understand different. Some of your, you were probably the first batch, as I understand, of students that went to Abarso. And I understand some of your colleagues or some of your schoolmates or classmates even had an opportunity to study while still in high school outside of the country. Did you get that opportunity?
No, unfortunately I didn't. I just went to college in the United States. So I started from first year at Oberlin College in Ohio. So I finished 4 years after I graduated from Abarso in 2013.
Right.
Yeah,
so before you got to the college in Ohio, what were your aspirations? What were you aspiring to be? What did you want to be in? Which fields did you interest in?
Yeah. So initially, the first thing I've always wanted to be a lawyer, but at some point I was also interested in medicine. So when I first got into Abarso, at the end of our first year, we had a physics examination. Because that was the first year, there was no syllabus yet. It was just new school teachers who were making things up as they go along. and we had a teacher who, like, our physics teacher was like PhD holder, like he was like a really like physics person, right? So he gave us an examination that was really hard, and it ended up taking us around 8 hours to finish it. That was the moment I knew medicine wasn't for me. So I was like, okay, for sure law is for me then. So from then on, I knew law, that was the career or what I wanted to study. Yeah.
Right. So
So yeah, so
you,
that's when I went to Oberlin.
right. So you then
Yeah, I went to Oberlin College, but the US is,
yeah, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
studied political science, and yeah, I studied political science in Oberlin because, I mean, you know this, but in the U.S. they don't offer professional degrees at when as soon as you finish college, as soon as you finish high school. So when I went there, because I couldn't study law, I majored in with political science and with a concentration in international relations. Yeah,
So
so that's the path I took.
so what was that like when you initially came to Ohio, straight out of Hargeisa? What was that experience like
Yeah.
for you?
It was interesting. Well, first of all, I mean, the landscape is really, I mean, really beautiful. In the US, but in general, in Ohio as well, that was the first time I saw. I mean, we have trees and stuff here, but you know, here it's more of a desert.
Right.
Like, but there it's all green. So that was really one of the main things. And snow was the first time I ever saw snow. So, like, environmental wise, there was just many differences. Even school, I mean, it's true that I was learning English in high school, but like I was studying alongside people who've been learning English or slash speaking English since they were born. You know, 18 years of speaking English isn't the same as 4 years of or 5 years of speaking English. So it was really hard. I remember I took this class. It was political theory, right? So we were studying people like Machiavelli and Hobbes, and those people like the people who, like, you know, the hard English, like Shakespearean English, that's what they were using.
Mm.
And I could barely, like, I mean, I could speak by this time, but I wasn't like, it was like regular English was a bit harder for me. So imagine reading Machiavelli the Prince. So it was hard, but I mean, also it's in another side, if you like just forget about the English, it's intensive. Like, we had to learn English in 4 years. I had to write my college applications in English. I had to talk to the interviewers, like the people interviewing me for college. I had to speak with them English. So my English wasn't, I mean, it was good. And by the end of the class, I mean, the beginning, the first few weeks, it was very hard, but I actually got a B plus. So I was really excited. So yeah, so I mean, I just really worked hard on it. Half of the stuff I couldn't understand, but it's just like you learn at Abarso to persevere and not give up. And like, if things get harder, let it be. Just continue, don't give up. So I think that was the main thing that really helped me throughout college. It's just that, like, keep working. Like, even if it's hard, even if you don't understand something, just keep working on it, and you'll finally get it. So yeah, so because I
So
went to Abarso, not only English wise but character as well, it was much easier for me going to college.
yeah, you were conditioned to be
Yeah.
a professional student is what it is. So from
Yeah.
Ohio, where did you go from Ohio? What was your next educational step?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2017. So I came back to Somaliland, and that was the time when Abarso, the founder of Abarso, and another woman called Ava Ramberg, they opened a university, an all-female education university called Barwago University. So
Right.
from 2017 to 2019, for 2 years, I taught at the university. So we were teaching girls who graduated from just high schools in Somaliland, uh, giving them education degrees. So we're teaching them how to teach, the importance of teaching and all that stuff. So I taught those girls for 2 years, and then I got accepted to a university in the UK, specifically Scotland, and I'm learning. I'm for LLB degree, so I'm in the process of
Mm.
getting a law degree at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously, because of the pandemic, I'm assuming you're back in Hargeisa and you're involved with the government. You're helping out the government. You're working for them. Um, what do you plan to do once you get your law degree? Are you planning to come back to Hargeisa? What's
Mhm.
what do you foresee in your wants and needs in the near future?
Yeah. So at the moment, yeah, because of, yeah, as you said, because of coronavirus, everything is online. So if I went back to the UK, well, I first came back for the summer, but because everything is online, and even if I went back, I would just be stuck in a room studying. So I preferred staying here in Hargeisa and
Yeah,
studying here. I also got a full-time job at the Ministry of Planning and National Development in Somaliland. So I mean, my future is honestly to be in Somaliland. I think well, first of all, Somaliland is my country.
right,
It's where I really feel like I can do anything I want. If you are in a foreign country, there's always that sound in your head that says, "This is not my country. This is not my home." But in Somaliland, like I know there's nothing better. Like even if the situation isn't as great, even if I don't have parks and huge libraries to go to,
right.
still I came back and I'm planning to stay for the rest of my life, inshallah, in Somaliland, just working and helping get Somaliland to be where everyone really wants to be. So yeah,
Right.
future Somaliland, inshallah.
So for those of us who are not really um, overtly or as information about Abarso, it seemed to be limited to those who went through that experience, as the broader public does not have a
Mhm.
bigger scope of what Abarso and Barwago universities are. Abarso School and Barwago University now. What can you tell us? As you know, there's a lot of
Mhm.
misinformation out there as well. Given your experiences, and they sound
Mhm.
tremendous to me and others who are watching this, what can you tell us overall?
I mean, the one thing I would honestly say is just go there and see for yourself, because I can't really explain it, and people really don't believe something unless they see it with their own eyes. Of course, there are rumors, there are things people are saying about so, but honestly, like, it's hard for people when they see some pictures that's made up or something to understand where I'm coming from. But
Right,
if you go and see it yourself, I think that's the best way for anyone to judge about.
right.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, that's, I mean, I was just gonna say, people, they really have, it's like a whole experience. Abarso is made up of a whole experience. It's not just one picture. And the issue with Somali people is we usually tend to focus on the negative things and never see the positive of it, right?
Mhm.
So I would say just go and see it for yourself. Yeah.
You seem to be somewhat still connected to the school and the experiences there. What is it like from when you got involved, which was the first years, to today? What was that experience like
Mm.
for everyone involved?
Yeah. I mean, back then, I mean, it's different being a student and being an alum. I mean, I've been gone for 10, I mean, actually, from the first time I've been there, 2009, it's been more than 10 years. I mean, now it's more than around 7 years since I've graduated. So it's been a long time. Back in my time, the school was really new. People were getting used to it, whether it was people on the inside trying to figure out the curriculum and everything, or even the people from outside, whether they live in Hargeisa or even abroad. People didn't know much about Abarso. Now it's very different. Now the school is accredited by a chapter in the US, I believe. The students have a better quality of education. So like, when people tell me, "Oh, you've achieved all of these things," in my mind, I'm always like, "Oh, just wait for the people who are going to graduate this year, or the people who are going to graduate in a couple of years, because they've been there for 7 years with and they have better education, better syllabuses, better teachers. I mean, not better teachers. I mean, we had great teachers, and I don't mean
Right.
to offend them at all, but I'm saying they are more experienced, because people know now that how good Abbas is and what it can achieve. So um, kids now are much luckier, and hopefully will be much better than us in the
The world
future.
is different, right? from
Yeah.
where even Somaliland used to be and where it is right now
Mhm.
on the world
Yeah.
stage is different. So that's bound to change things as well. I like to take the opportunity to thank all your teachers as well. And I'm glad as a Canadian to hear that you guys had a Canadian teachers and possibly have continued to have Canadian teachers. And I applaud them for their time
Mhm.
and effort and expertise and for them contributing. As a Canadian, that makes me very proud. And as a Somalilander, makes me grateful. I also want to thank you not just for
Mhm.
your time and sharing your experiences with us, but providing us a window of a quintessential Somali household in Hargeisa. The background is just amazing, and I'm sure I'm going to get the most comments out of the view that you provided us with in your home today. I appreciate that. Thank you for your time, and I
Yeah.
hope to continue to talk to you in the future as you continue to be more influential human being and a great Somalilander. Thank you, and take care.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.